Alright. Hello and what is up everyone, it is me, Hachi from the Art of Dota, and I'm back with another patch notes analysis. If you guys joined me in my last patch note analysis, that was about 6 hours, but we're here with a much shorter one. This is gameplay update 7.07b, and shout out to whoever on Reddit made this reborn style 7.07b update. It's making it a lot easier for me to make this video in a, I wouldn't say nicer fashion, but it's definitely a lot better to read this than to just look at like the weird whatever the blog update posts without any like formatting, and there's no like images or anything like that as well. But yeah, again, shout out to whoever on Reddit made this. It's really nice, and it's gonna be better for you guys to look at and better for me to look at as well. But let's just get right into the patch notes analysis here. So for general updates, it looks like they increased the damage reduction of backdoor protection. Before it was only 25%, and now it is now 40%. And I think the reason behind this is because if you guys have played turbo mode, people have been running like IO and Alchemist, and I was even theorizing about like IO Shadow Shaman, where you can get like refresher shard and drop 3 wards in enemy base, and it was getting ridiculous with the amount of things that you can just use to backdoor, especially with heroes like IO with global relocate. I think this was a much needed change, and it will make those type of cheat strategies less viable. I still think you can backdoor with certain heroes like Lone Druid. It's just going to take you more items and more attack speed and things like that. So I don't think backdooring is impossible with this change, but it's going to be significantly harder. So moving on to the item changes, we have Aeon Disc getting a little bit of a cost reduction. I think that item is a bit weak right now. It's very situational. Sometimes you can pick it up as maybe a 7th item on a hero like, let's say, Tinker, where you don't have buyback, and if you get caught out, you might just lose the game. And the Aeon Disc will allow you to still split push relatively aggressively without having to worry about just getting gone on, or enemies hiding in the trees or invis and just losing the game because you got picked off. And same thing with other heroes, split pushing heroes like Anti-Mage, maybe Morphling, but it's never really viable on a core as like a core or like first 6 items even. It would always be a 7th item or a pickup very later on into the game. And I think having a little bit of a cost reduction will allow maybe some supports to pick it up a bit faster. Because again, the build-up is fairly good, right? It's just the energy booster, the vitality booster. It's just the recipe that was super expensive. And I think that getting a little bit of a cost reduction will maybe allow the item to be picked up more often. But I still think it's going to be a pretty rare item that you'll see in your games and even in pro games. But we'll see what happens. I think with like a little bit more cost reduction, like the less and less this item costs, the more value you'll have, because you're not investing that much gold. And I think on certain heroes, Aeon Disc can be very good actually. So maybe we're gonna see future cost reductions in the future as well if this doesn't really sway anything, because it's not that much gold. I mean, what is it, 75 gold? So we'll see. That's literally like one last hit, but not that big of a change. Mask of Madness getting just an armor reduction increase from 6 to 7, just something slight. Item was still a bit too good in Ice Rock's opinion apparently, so he nerfed it there a little bit more. Same thing with Battle Free and with Anti-Mage, as you see down below, being a super annoying hero in especially 5k plus pubs. I saw that Reddit post yesterday. They're going to nerf his Battle Free just slightly, because he's really the only hero that's buying it at this point that's in the meta really, other than like Monkey King, and Monkey King isn't even that bad either. So small nerf to Anti-Mage and Monkey King just by 5 damage, nothing major. Nothing with Meteor Hammer is they actually nerfed it. I'm so confused with this change here, because I feel like the item was just not good, and now they just actually nerf it just by a slight number, right? It's 10 DPS as well as 20 onto units, or not 20, about 20. Is that more 25? Math. What is math? Anyway, the DPS gets reduced, and it does do impact damage now, which is something it didn't do before. It would just drop and then just do the DPS. So it was a bit weird. It actually didn't do initial damage. You just drop it and then it would do some damage over time. Now it does initial damage now with 150 impact damage onto units. So that's just straight up 150 damage, and then the 90 damage over time, and then 75 on the building, and then with a 50 damage over time. Again, I think this was just a change made because the item was a bit weird how it worked before, literally not doing impact damage. So they're like, all right, we gotta give it impact damage. This is a bit weird, so we gotta reduce the DPS a little bit so the damage isn't too ridiculous. But even then, I still feel like if they kept the DPS how it was before and added impact damage, it still wouldn't be that strong. But I don't know. We'll see how the item gets utilized. I mean, in pub games as well as pro games. Because it was picked up, I think, once in a pro game with, it was a Chinese team. I think Newbie picked it up. Yeah, it was Newbie, and they actually lost to the Brazilians, SG, and they're like, all right, we're never buying that item again. We're done. All right, no more Meteor Hammer. Anyway, down to the hero changes. We got Anti-Mage, the first hero here, being significantly nerfed. God bless to all of you who hate this hero in your pubs and is not an anti-mage player. You gotta ban it every game, and if it doesn't get banned, the enemy team second or first picks it, and he still ruins your game, even if you try to pick as many counters as you can, right? So the strength gain of anti-mage is reduced just by a slight amount. This is gonna make him, of course, a little bit easier to kill. Just squisher in the early game, and you're gonna have a great time trying to kill him. Just with this slight strength gain reduction. Again, he's still a very squishy hero in the early game, so this will actually impact him quite a bit. They're also going to reduce his base intelligence, so he's going to have a smaller mana pool to work with at the start of the game, which is really nice because he's very dependent on his mana. So now you can pick some mana burn heroes, and maybe you can just burn all of his mana in the early game, give him a taste of his own medicine, and he won't be able to blink away. The spell shield reduction as well was slightly nerfed. So they basically nerfed to survivability. This is what these three changes pretty much amount to. So nerfed his mana pool, which is going to affect him because if he uses too much of his mana, he's not going to be able to have blink. Nerfed his strength gain, which is going to make him slightly squishier. And then also nerfed his defensive ability in his passive, with just a small numbers change to spell shield at level 1 to 3. And now they also hit his talents here. They actually just got rid of the level 15 blink spawns an uncontrollable illusion. They changed that to plus 15 agi. And then they moved it to level 20, which used to be plus 10 to all stats to blink uncontrollable illusion. What this actually means now is if you look at Anti-Mage's talent, he actually can go for blink cooldown reduction and blink uncontrollable illusion now at level 20, because before blink uncontrollable illusion and blink cooldown was on the same tree, so you could never go both. Now you could actually go both, which is gonna be, I guess, a quote-unquote buff later on in the game, because you're gonna be able to just spawn an illusion more often, 1 second more often to be exact. But it's going to nerf his overall effectiveness because he's not going to be able to have that illusion at level 15, which is something that was super annoying. Because like even before, because like usually when he's at level 15, before he gets a manta, he can just spawn illusions everywhere, and they'll help him farm, they'll help him scout out as well. And it was just a pretty unique, but I think strong talent that definitely made him top hero right now in the patch. And at level 25, they're going to reduce his spell shield, 30% spell shield to 25%. So now at maximum level with spell shield and level 25, he's going to have a 75% spell damage reduction from an 80%, which is just a small, again, nerf to his survivability. And the illusion talent incoming damage also is increased from 250% to 300%. So now the illusion that he spawns from his talent is a little bit less tanky as well, just slightly. So again, just small number changes because I think the hero is pretty powerful, but at the same time I think we're just not dealing with him right. So just a couple of small numbers changes and he'll be back where he needs to be in a comfortable state where you can deal with him, right? It's just not ridiculous. And they also fixed the illusion talent being able to be placed inside of your hero. I don't know what that actually means, but I think they're trying to say that you can like blink in place or something like that, and then I actually don't know. But apparently there was some type of bug where the illusion can be placed inside your hero. That is fixed now, so you don't have to worry about that. Anyway, the second hero here, we have Bane. His level 10 talent has been changed. Again, they took a really powerful talent and moved it later on onto the talent tree, right? Now he gets it at level 15. I'm getting a Steam message here. It might be something important, so I gotta check it. Oh, it is someone messaging me. You see my or you see my background there. Anyway, with Bane, again, who is messaging me? Okay, it's nothing important. There's someone asking me about something. Anyway, okay, back to the video. Sorry about that, guys. So with Bane, they moved the level 10 talent where he could steal damage to level 15, and they replaced it with cast range, and they moved the cast range talent that he previously got level 15 to level 10. This is actually going to make support Bane better because he's going to have that cast range earlier, which is something that's really valued on support Bane, especially if you need to get that nightmare to save your teammate, or you can get that brain sap from a bit of a longer range to save your life or finish off a kill, as well as getting a slightly longer range Fiend's Grip. And again, this is going to be in favor of skipping over the armor talent, which I think is very strong in support Bane as well, but you're going to have that choice now. You're going to get cast range or armor. And with the level 15 talent, I don't know what the other talent is, but I know that I think it's, hold on, I should pull this up, and I will here, so we can see all 7.07 hero talents trees. Alright, so for Bane, alright, it was move speed, or no, it's experience gain or enfeeble steals damage. So it's experience gain. It was experience gain or cast range, but now it's experience gain or damage steal, which the experience gain was pretty nice, especially if you're playing core Bane, so you can get that level 25 brain sap damage and heal plus 250. But now you're going to have to decide between the experience gain or stealing damage, which I think if you are a core Bane, you will want to steal the damage, right? So you would have to go that over the experience gain. But just small changes to Bane doesn't really change him much, because I don't think he's even that viable as a core unless you're just like trolling or just running him in a pub, because I think in like organized, especially a pro game, you definitely can deal with him very easily. So not that big of a nerf, or it was just a slight change of anything. Makes him just as strong as he was, and if not stronger in the support position, because he's access to that cast range at level 10. So the next hero will be Beastmaster here, and I think he's a very strong hero right now in the patch. First ban worthy, and I think it's only going to continue to show as more and more players get comfortable with playing the new Beastmaster, because again, he has changed quite a bit. In the patch notes, it was considered a hero rework because of how many changes they actually made to him, but he's going to receive some nerfs here with Wild Axes getting a slightly increased mana cost, and it doesn't scale anymore, so it's going to be higher at all levels actually, and level 1 is going to be 20 mana higher. Again, he doesn't have the biggest mana pool in the world, so it's a relatively significant nerf to that ability. He's not going to be able to spam it as often without going some type of mana regen item. His level 20 talent is also going to be slightly nerfed. Nothing big there, and the damage of his boar has also been nerfed as well. Just some small damage number changes, and the mana nerf as well. It's going to make him slightly less effective as hero, but nothing major. Again, he, I think, has the highest win rate increase compared to the last patch, and this is a very bad time to make a video. Everyone is messaging me. Alright, again, I'm currently coaching a team right now, so I have to watch out in case I have something to do and I'll have to end the video. But I should be able to get through this because nothing is going on right now. Anyway, Dark Willow has also been nerfed slightly again. None of the changes in this 7.07b is anything huge. I would say the anti-mage change is the most significant. As you see, there's the most changes, but the rest is just some small damage tweaks, and we'll try to get through this without spending too much time here, guys. All right. So Bramble Maze doesn't do damage over, or Bramble Maze now does damage over time on a 0.5 second interval, so it doesn't do the huge burst anymore, which means that you're gonna get a chance to get your magic wand off, mech, heal, maybe just with passive regen, I don't know, but it's not gonna just do that straight up damage instance and just finish you off right there. It's gonna do some little damage over time, which will allow you to maybe save yourself with some type of defensive ability. The Bedlam cooldown has also been rescaled, increased at level 1 and 2, and the same at level 3. This ability was a little bit too strong, and on a very low cooldown, a 20-second cooldown, you can use it to farm waves or just constantly gank, right? You would get ganked, turn around the gank with Bedlam, and then another gank comes, and then you have Bedlam again, and they're like, oh crap, and they're just all dead, right? And now you're not going to be able to do that anymore. I think this is definitely a significant nerf to the hero, as that's why she was so strong before. She would just get level 6 and the Bedlam would constantly be up. As long as she has the mana, she's just gonna be able to constantly fight. Now it's on a significantly longer cooldown at 40 seconds at level 1. What the heck? Alright, so someone's telling me about an IO pangolin interaction right now. That's what's going on in my Steam chat. Apparently, you can pick Pangolier and Io, and with the Io level 20 talent, all of Pangolier's attacks also translate to Io attacks. So if you got to carry Io with the Pangolier offlane, you can do some weird combos. But I'll see if I'll do that in an unranked game, or maybe even a ranked game. I'm crazy enough to do that in a ranked game, but that's a little bit off topic right now, as we're heading to Dragon Knight with his level 15 talent changed from 40% experience gain to 35 damage. Again, we can look up Dragon Knight's other talents here on my side monitor. So he used to have a 40% experience gain, is now damage. And again, the 40 experience gain will help him scale to level 20 and level 25 faster, where he has pretty good talents there. Level 20, he has 2 times Dragon Blood, Regen, and Armor, something that he got at level 25 before, but I don't think it was 2 times. It might have been 3 times, or it was 2 times. I don't remember, as I wasn't a Dragon Knight player at all. But his level 25 talent is also longer stun and 40 strength. 40 strength is a lot. 40 strength makes him pretty much unkillable. So this change is going to make it so he can't get to that, peak that fast, which means that you have a better chance playing against a Dragon Knight who's snowballing. And I feel like some of these changes are even geared towards turbo mode, where a lot of these heroes are kind of broken in turbo mode. And they're just going to change it out, or change around some things so that that's not the case. Because I don't feel like any of these changes impact the regular game too much. I think this definitely is a significant nerf to Dragon Knight. I think he would want that talent so he can scale later on. And again, the other choice at level 15 is 300 health, and now you'll probably go for the health or the damage. I actually don't know. They seem both good. It depends on what you're trying to do, right? Are you the tank or are you the damage dealer? So again, the talents are fairly balanced, I feel, in this patch, and you can definitely choose between one or the other, and you don't really go just one build every game. Okay, up to the next hero, Drow Ranger. She's gonna have a level 20 talent increased from 1.5 second gust duration to 2 seconds. And we can look at her talents. Well, she's right below Dragon Knight. So that's her level 20 talent, and the other choice is Marksmanship Agility. This is going to make this talent a little bit more viable if you need that extra disable or silence to lock down a hero on, say, like Storm Spirit. And She's also received a bit of a nerf on her precision aura as well, reduced slightly in terms of its percentage numbers. So just small nerfs and change to her talent, making that talent a little bit better to stack up against the plus 20 marksmanship agility. But then at the same time, just nerfing her numbers slightly. Nothing big there. For Lone Druid, I think the backdoor change definitely is a nerf to him, and I don't think he's a very good hero, so you're going to give him a slight buff here on his bear, giving it a little bit extra HP regen, so it can help sustain better in laning stage, and even later on in the game, and you don't have to constantly send the bear back to base or worry about healing it in some way. So just a slight buff there to Lone Druid, but again, I think the backdoor reduction is a nerf to him overall, so I still don't think he's that strong of a hero unless you're going for a very specific strategy. And I think Liquid has been making him work, but of course they're just a known, that's a hero they're known to pick and make work. On to the next hero, we got Medusa, who I felt was pretty strong potentially in 7.07. We haven't seen her picked up too often, and in pubs she's not really favored because of how popular anti-mage is. With anti-mage nerf now, I think that she's definitely be a lot more viable. She received a bit of a strength gain reduction here, so again making her just slightly less tankier. But in addition, they're going to change around her talents quite a bit. Her level 10 talent is going to be increased evasion from 10% to 12%, which is actually a big deal because there's no way to just straight up go through evasion anymore unless you're like an Amber Spirit with True Strike or with a Bloodthorn. That's a very expensive item, and it's just a very specific hero, right? Amber Spirit. As again, MKB doesn't give you full True Strike anymore. It's only 75%, I believe. And her level 15 talent as well has been increased from 10% Mystic Stake Mana Steal to 15%, just buffering her talents. So they made her less tankier, but they're making her more effective in other ways. So she might have a strength gain reduction, but the evasion will definitely help her be more survivable to physical damage, and she's able to steal more mana, and with her level 20 talent be increased from plus 2 seconds stone gaze duration to plus 2.5 seconds. She's going to have a longer stone gaze, which means that she's going to be unfightable for longer, which means that you should pretty much have to turn away, and during that whole time the enemy can just try to chase you down or just get free pot shots as you're trying to turn your back. In addition, her split shot damage has been slightly nerfed. So just slightly nerfed there. Small numbers again. Hero I felt was already pretty strong. They're going to nerf her a little bit, but then buff her talents. Kind of similar to what they did to Drow Ranger, honestly. So now for Mirana, we can also look at Medusa's other talents to see how things stack up as well, just in case. So Medusa. So the Stone Gaze duration, I think you don't even go that, so I see why they buffed that, because the plus 800 mana is super valuable in a hero like Medusa, and that's her other level 20 talent. And for her level 15 talent, it's between Mystic Stake Mana Steal and attack speed, and again I think the attack speed was a little bit better. And same at level 10, she had a plus 25, so they're just balancing out the talents, making the other a little bit more viable, and that's the reason behind the talent change there. So I wouldn't have been able to catch that if I didn't check the talent tree, so everything makes sense here. So overall, a nerf, but then they buffed the talents just to make it even out with the other talent that in my opinion is just better in most instances. So this is going to make the other talent a little bit more viable. Now for Mirana, they're going to change her agility from a base of 20 to 18, and then give her a little bit less agi gain as well. I felt like the hero was very strong actually in certain games where she wasn't worried about getting outscaled, because again she's still very weak in the late game when there's just heroes that just outscale her that can man up and she can't do anything about it, and that's heroes like AM honestly. But now they're going to nerf her agi a little bit. Again, this won't affect her too much because again they did nerf AM as well. Pretty decent hero against Mirana, but this is going to make her just slightly worse in terms of her scaling and her damage through the mid game and late game. Now for Morphling, he is brought back into Captain's mode. I'm assuming, fixed all the weird bugs with him, and his Adaptive Strike agility minimum damage multiplier is increased, which means that what does that actually mean? I think it means that, wait, hold on, let me look. I gotta look at Morphling. because he's quite different. And they changed the max damage multiplier as well. So I think that's okay. I understand now. So what it means pretty much is he needs less agi to get the minimum damage, or less agi to get the maximum damage, and more agi, a little bit. Hold on. This is confusing. So the way that adaptive strike works is you have a certain amount of agi according to a multiplier, and it's going to do the minimum damage, and you have a certain amount of agi with a multiplier, and it does the max damage. And they're basically changing the multiplier, which means that you're gonna have to have different agi numbers. I don't know how the math works out. I'm gonna have to look at Morphling. Hold on. This, again, I don't really play this hero at all, but I can try my best to explain it to you guys here. So here you go. So adaptive strike agility. It launches a surge of water towards an enemy unit, dealing base damage plus additional damage based on Morphling's agility times a multiplier. Basically what I said. And if Morphling agi is 50% higher than strength, the maximum damage and the minimum stun is dealt. So the minimum bonus damage agility multiplier means that so it's now 50%. Before it was 25%, which means that your agi has to be 50% higher than the strength. Before it has to be 25% higher. What does that actually mean? Math is hard. Hold on. Give me a second here, guys. Figuring this out. Dota 2 math. So, okay. That means you're going to have more agi over strength to get the... Hold on. This hero is so complicated. Alright. You're watching me struggle here. Alright, so let's think this through, guys. Let's think this through. So you have, let's say, 100... Just do easy numbers here. You got 100 agi, you got 100 strength. So to have the minimum bonus damage, you want to have 150 and 100. That's 50% more. Do we just move on? What is... No, alright. I gotta get down to this. What does that actually mean? I can't let this go now. They changed the max damage multiplier as well. Minimum damage and the max damage. And the max damage was increased by 0.5 at all levels. 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. Yeah. Well, okay, let's just go back to figure out how the ability actually works, right? And there's not enough notes. So, alright, let me read through the notes here. Adaptive strike agility and adaptive strike strength are linked to... That doesn't really help. The multiplier value is not fixed and adapts linearly in smooth intervals depending on the difference between Morphling's agility and strength. Check Morphling's attributes upon projectile impact. The value changed with each percent difference between agility and strength, even when it's just a minimal change. The multiplier also counts bonus attributes, not only base attributes. I don't understand what the multiplier is used for. That's the thing. It doesn't say anywhere. So how does this actually... Alright, we're actually just going to have to let it go, because apparently the wiki doesn't have enough information. I mean, it seems like they know how the ability works. Is it just going over my head here? Like, is that I don't play the hero at all, but like the way it's the way I think it works. Let me tell you the way I think it works, right? So, the thing is, if you have a certain amount of agi over strength, you're going to do, or the way it used to work, is you would do more damage, less stun, right? More damage, less stun. And then you would, if you had more strength than agi, you would do more stun, less damage. So minimum damage means that you would have to have minimum damage means that you're doing the least damage possible with the most stun possible. So that's 0.5. So you can get... So is that what they're trying to say? Is you get more stun sooner? Or something like that? And max damage has also been scaled. So you can get more damage out of it? What is... Hold on. When strength is 50% higher than agi, the stun duration and knockback distance stops increasing. So before it was 25%, now it's 50%. Is that how it is now? Is that what they're trying to say? So before you'd have 25% more and it stops increasing, but now it's 50% more and it stops increasing, whether it's stun or damage. But they also increased the minimum stun to 0.5 rather than 0.25. So let's say you have maximum damage, minimum stun. It would still do a 0.5 stun. And what are the other changes? The shift bonus agi has been increased as well. So he gets a little bit more agi and strength out of the attribute shift ability. And his level 10 talent has been changed. This is again a talent swap around. If you look at Morphling's talent tree, the other talent there at level 10 is plus 10 agi, and the other talent at level 25 is multi-shot adaptive strike. But now that's actually swapped, so he has the waveform range at level 10, and the level 25 waveform range has been just changed to waveform charges, so just a straight up new ability. Or not new ability, but new talent. And that was it for the Morphling changes. This was confusing. I can't tell if that's a buff or a nerf. I feel like it's a nerf. I don't know. Because if you need 50% more, right? That is a nerf. Because before you only need 25%. Is that... It's... Alright, here. I'm reading the wiki, guys. I'm if you guys know, leave a comment down below, because I'm lost here. I spent way too much time on this. Let's just move to the next hero. So Kunkka, his level 25 talent has been reduced. Just a small nerf there. 4 ships to 3. No more ghost ship fleet. I mean, the fleet has lost 1 ship, I guess. There's still the fleet, but we've lost 1 ship. Alright, that's the Pangolier. Some pretty significant changes to him. So now Swashbuckle, as my friend was actually messaging me, it uses his attack now, or it changes his attack damage to that number and then uses his attack rather than just doing physical damage in a nuke. So this means now that he can actually life steal off of his swashbuckle, he can crit off of his swashbuckle and do other effects on hit effects. In addition, his shield crash damage reduction has been increased, so slight buff to his second ability, and also makes him jump forward. So now he can jump over cliffs using 2 abilities, using shield crash as well as swashbuckle. It increases his mobility quite significantly when he doesn't have rolling thunder up. And now the rolling thunder has a cast time rather than a channel period. So I think this means that it cannot be cancelled anymore. I'm pretty sure, right? It just has a cast time and it's not a channeling, so you can't stun him and cancel it. Well, you'll cancel it still, but it's not going to put it on cooldown. It was the big thing. And now Rolling Thunder turn rate has been increased. It's going to make it easier to control. Wait, it's increased, so it's harder, or it has a wider. Wait, hold on. Okay, yeah, it's able to turn a bit faster. That's what that means. Now, Rolling Thunder speed has also been increased at all levels. It's still the same at max level, but it is now just a base 600 instead of scaling with levels. His Rolling Thunder speed is now fixed. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's what they just said there. I don't know why they need to put it twice. And Rolling Thunder damage has also been increased at level 2 and level 3. Same at level 1. Swashbuckle attacks now affects spell immune units. Apparently that was bugged, and his level 25 talent has been increased from negative 12 second Rolling Thunder to negative 16 second. So he's going to be able to use that much more often. Again, it is pretty much core to the kit of the hero, being able to just roll around and, be a pangolin in a ball. So overall, big buffs to Pangolier, going to make him a more viable hero, and I like to see more of him. He's a fun hero to play with, and not so much play against. He's pretty annoying to play against, but he never felt that good. But now I'm definitely going to be testing out some more Pangolier. Ricky has been nerfed a little bit. Let's see what they did to him here. So for his level 15 talent, the other talent was 20% 1.5 times crit, and now they're going to increase the smoke screen cooldown, which I felt was actually the better talent, especially as a support Ricky. So this is actually buff to support Ricky and slight nerf to damage dealing Ricky. Okay, Spirit Breaker, a little bit of a cooldown increase on his ultimate, so just a nerf there. I think the hero is still pretty good, so I'm just gonna hit him there with that cooldown nerf. So Sven has also been slightly nerfed. I felt like he was a very strong hero, and now he's going to just have some slightly reduced numbers on his God Strength from 12 to 10 and 24 to 20, 36 to 30. Just small number changes again. Slight strength reduction, and his level 25 talent has just been slightly buffed in terms of its Stormhammer cooldown. And you look at the other talent there, the tree, it is plus 40 strength God Strength. And that just seems like the better talent, right? And now this is potentially making the Stormhammer cooldown a little bit more viable with that 1 second added. And now for Templar Assassin, she has received a little bit of a buff, especially to her psionic traps here. You see there the talent gives her a bit more HP now, compared to the other talent at level 10, which is going to be attack speed. I still think you go attack speed, but this is going to make a game where maybe you really want the health. You're going to get a little bit more out of it. And her psionic traps has also been significantly buffed here, almost doing double damage at level 3. I think the way they changed the psionic traps, she doesn't feel that strong of a hero, so they're just going to let her have that big buff there to her trap ability, just doing that much more damage. And even if you stack up traps now, you can potentially, be a pseudo techies. I don't know. Now for Tiny, he's received a lot of changes here. First, they increased his base strength by 4, which is going to make him slightly tankier in the early game. Just have that extra strength, a little bit more damage as well. But they changed a lot with his tree grab here, which I think will make him more viable as a core, because it just didn't feel like not being able to buy Ags anymore, not having Agi, his attack speed was just crap. I mean, you can't really afford to go all these items like Butterfly and things like that to actually give you Agi armor with attack speed and things like that. But now they're going to just lower the tree grab cooldown to 15 at all levels, so that's lower at all levels. So you're just gonna be able to have your tree, right? Just straight up buffing this ability. And then in addition, they're going to increase the tree grab splash damage, so it does 100% splash now. So just again, another buff to the ability because it just felt too useless. It didn't feel like it was useful that much. Tree grab now does bonus damage as well from 25% to 30%, and the attack count has been increased at all levels, or at level, just at the max level actually, never mind. Read that wrong. So just again, buffs overall to tree grab, making it a more useful ability. You can use it to deal more damage, you're going to get more attacks at max level, and it's just overall better. And now the grow attack speed reduction has been rescaled, so now it actually scales instead of just being 30 at all levels, which was pretty annoying because you would level up your ultimate once and you feel like you couldn't attack anymore. You literally were attacking like a snail. It took you literally forever. But now you're going to have, I mean, it's just slight, but you're going to just have slightly more attack speed with that level 1 ultimate. And now the toss unit bonus damage has also been increased from 20% to 30%, so a little bit more toss damage there as well. His talents have also been changed around a little bit here, and if we can compare, he went from 25 damage to 30, which is not bad, and the magic resistance is pretty big, I feel, as it went from 15% to 20. So a lot of times, if you're like a caster tiny, where you just want to go in there, you know, tank some spells, because again, his ultimate does give him status reduction, allowing him to, you know, tank stuns better. In combination with magic resistance, this hero can be very good against caster heroes. It's not only he's getting stun less, he's taking less damage. But they did buff the other talent as well, the damage. Again, if you want to go, you know, right click tiny, the way he's pretty much used to be played, you're gonna get a little bit more damage there as well. Just overall buffing him, because he felt a bit too weak as a hero. Now, down to the next hero, and down to the end, we have Vengeful Spirit with Allied Death Illusion duration reduced. That just felt a little bit too strong. 7 seconds of just someone attacking you from the grave, pretty much, or yourself attacking you from the grave. Or, well, no, that's terribly. Yeah, someone attacking you from the grave. So if you kill someone, they're going to respawn as a ghost and they're going to wail on you for full 7 seconds. It felt too strong, so they're going to nerf that there by 1 second. And they also slightly reduced her base damage, which isn't that big of a deal. Just small nerfs to the hero. And finally, last but not least, we got Visage that just got a slight buff there to his familiars, which it's just a small numbers change, but considering how fast his familiars attack, it actually is a pretty, I wouldn't say big buff, but it's going to make him a little bit more viable because he felt slightly weak after the change with his familiars. But this is going to be it for the 7.07b patch notes analysis. We took a little bit of time here. Let's see how long this video actually turns out to be. 40 minutes, a little bit long. Hope you guys enjoyed me rambling about all of this new changes. Again, nothing major. Some small changes here and there to certain heroes, but then also heroes that felt too weak got, I wouldn't say significant buffs, but they definitely got a massive buff to all their numbers and maybe some talents as well, as you saw with Tiny here. And then heroes that were a bit too strong definitely got their numbers cut down on multiple skills, you know, stat changes and things like that. So this is going to be it for this video. Again, if you enjoyed, make sure you leave a like. And if you want to see more patch analysis videos in the future, also subscribe. Again, I'm also uploading videos every single day, especially with 7.07 being so new. There's a lot to learn and a lot to talk about. So again, make sure you subscribe if you want to see more content. Again, I'm uploading pretty much every day, sometimes multiple times a day. So stay tuned for more content, and I'll see you all in the next video.